Is online dating safe, and what can you do to make it safer when it isn't? I'm Alana Mackenzie Page, and I help women find great men to date online, which means that there are a lot of questions about safety and how to remain safe. The basic but pretty unhelpful answer to the question, is online dating safe, is that it can be. So what I want to share with you today are ways that you can make it safer for yourself emotionally and physically. Hopefully all these tips are pretty self-evident and you're already doing all of them, but you'd be surprised how often someone's missing at least one or two of them, which doesn't lend itself to you living your greatest safety, both emotionally and physically, in online dating. So here are my top tips to keep things safe for you. If you have a story about your emotional or physical safety that you want to share, please feel free to leave that in the comments. First, let's talk about actual safety tips on your profile. So these are things that are going to be about your online dating profile that keep you safer. The first thing is to never use your full name, and if you have kind of a unique name, not to put that down there either. I just recently showed my best friend that her name, which is kind of unique, could be searched just that one word with the city that she lives in, and it would immediately pull up a whole profile link to her. So if you have a unique name, you want to make sure you are not searchable in an internet search. Related to that is your job title. So you don't want to ever put your exact job title. That could have somebody search your name and the title and come up with your LinkedIn or some other article about your professional work. Third thing is photos of your family and friends that don't have the face blurred out. If you want to put in pictures of your friends and family, of you hanging out in groups, totally fine, but make sure that you've maintained their privacy and not shared who they are, what they look like with random strangers on the internet. Sort of related to both those points, you also want to not use the same photos of yourself that you have on LinkedIn or Facebook, because it's easy now to do a backwards search, essentially, where if someone has a picture of you from an online dating profile, they can back search it to find links to your other profiles on the internet and discover who you are and where you are. Use different photos for your online dating profile than you use in everyday life. Instagram, Facebook, all that. And lastly, don't put down your hometown or your current location if you're in a really small place. If your name's Sarah and you live in Los Angeles, that's probably not a big deal, but if you live in a really tiny town where maybe you're the only person with that name, then don't put that down. Let's talk a little bit about emotional safety from an online dating profile perspective. And this mainly has to do with scammers, because what scammers do is they come in and they're really emotionally vulnerable with you and really connected to you, and they chat with you a lot, and then they ask you for money. The most important thing to do, like, this is just the attitude to cultivate, and this can take some practice. So again, just thinking about it as an attitude that you're cultivating, and that is that strangers are strangers. You don't know anyone that you've met in online dating until you meet in person, and then theoretically until you've kept meeting for months. You want to really get into this mindset of I don't know this person. This is someone who's completely unknown to me. They might not even be who they say that they are online, right? This is the thing, because this is the truth, is that some people who say who they are online are lying. So you want to make really sure that you're thinking about this, this is a stranger. This is a stranger on the internet and I don't know them. So in that vein, ways to stay emotionally safe from scammers are, one, just to skip over any weird profiles. Anything is weird on the profile. Maybe their pictures are AI looking-ish, or they only have one picture, or they only say one thing about themselves and nothing else. That's maybe just not a great match, and skip right over it. They're at least not someone who's putting in a lot of effort to their dating life right now, and if you want to meet someone great who's ready to date right now, go ahead and only match, only reach out to, only chat to people who are really putting in some effort to their profile, and that will mean that you are getting better matches, first of all, because you won't be connecting with these people who are pretty low effort, and you're much less likely to be connecting with scammers. Another thing that follows on the back of remembering that people in the online dating space are complete strangers is that you're not giving away any personal information. No personal information, especially not a phone number. So you're not connecting with people outside of the app until after you've met in person. This is a mistake that people make all the time, is just giving out their phone number to someone they've just met in the online space. Keep it on the apps. If they don't want to stay on the apps, you should wonder why that is, instead of feeling bad because it's oh, they don't want to talk to me. No, why don't they just talk to you on the app, which is where you both met and where you're both intending to meet new people and chat with them and get to know them. That's literally the point of that place. Don't listen to excuses about oh, I need to get off the app, so can you just give me your number? Until you've met them in person, assume that they're a complete stranger and they might just live in a totally different country and you would have no idea who they are and what they're about and what they're after. Don't give them your personal information, especially not your phone number. I hope this is really, really obvious, but don't give them any money. And when people ask you for money or solicit money from you, report them immediately to the app. One other important thing that also takes cultivation, cultivating the mindset of self-trust. So you want to really be able to tap into your intuition and find out whether you trust this person and how much attention, time, energy, and information to give them about yourself. If you can develop your intuition around whether someone is a safe person, emotionally or physically or not, and really trust yourself and act on that, then you're going to be in great shape. And I teach this sometimes. So if you want to find out more about my classes, please join my newsletter, which is linked down below. And otherwise, think about it in terms of these 3 steps. So the first step to getting in touch with your intuition is relaxation. So being able to relax into yourself, at least, not necessarily in a situation, but really being able to relax into yourself so that you can listen to yourself, hear yourself, find out what's really going on for you. Second, recognize your sensations and your body responses and your thoughts as something that's important, and trust yourself that you know what's right, that you are sensing danger, and that you then also have the impulse to do something about it. So it's kind of 3 steps. First, relaxation. Second, self-trust. Third, action around what you're feeling into. Next up in physical safety is to always have your first meeting with the person in public, not in a secluded area, not in a private home, nowhere that you might be alone with this person. Let your family and friends know where you're going and when you'll be back, all that good kind of stuff. Just make sure at least one person knows where you are and where you should be later. When you're meeting someone in online dating, don't rely on them for transport. If this is just the first time you've ever met them, don't give out your home address, so don't have them pick you up there, and don't have them drop you off until later in the relationship when you've really established trust between the two of you and an understanding of each other's emotional capacity and all of that good stuff. Again, in that vein, don't give out your number until you're really sure this is someone you want to see again, and really trust yourself and your intuition if they aren't that kind of person. Leave a comment below if you feel like there's anything else I missed. And again, if you have any stories of times that you were able to stay safe or that you didn't feel safe in online dating, so that I can help you with further videos on this topic. It's so important to be really taking care of your emotional and physical safety in the online dating space. So thank you for hanging out with me. Subscribe to be notified when next week's video comes out.